Usually they get looking like Rainy. They go white and they go flea bitten. It's interesting. TJ's mom was gray. Obviously he's not gray, but his face is going gray fast.
Yeah.
Like above his eyes, so that I think the roaning comes from the gray gene in there.
I don't know, Rainy's weird because she kind of has dapples, but then
Well, she's flea
she
bitten.
has spots that
Yeah.
are like chestnut.
Like if she,
They're
if
not
she,
like liver spot, like
but she,
spot
her,
spots. They're
her
like,
flea bitten spots are chestnut.
well, and there's a couple of patches that look
Yeah.
like that.
In the Palomino world, those are known as smut marks.
Right.
Not very attractive. That's what they're known for.
All right, buddy.
Yeah, he sort of acts like, maybe the carriage isn't so bad.
I don't think I.
And notice he's
I
too,
probably not had the doors closed before.
well, and it's way more of a cage.
Yeah. Well, and also I picked up the whip and he was like.
Yeah, well, he's probably met a whip. But he's starting to chew, which is nice. Meaning he's letting go of his jaw and his inner worries. Sit, stay. Ooh, good boy. What a good chap. What a good chap. Ooh. Good boy.
Big boy, don't you?
Where you going? Ooh.
I need to get an elastic earth for him.
Yeah, I think
I ordered two and I ordered Merrick's. But Merrick's is a little smaller.
but doesn't Merrick love his elastic girth?
Whoa,
Ooh, ooh.
whoa.
You
Want a hand?
No? Yes, no?
You want Anita to come stand with him? Because I think he's discovered where the exit is. Anita's looking pretty sound.
Step on Anita, though.
Yeah, he does move pretty fast. She said she doesn't
She was
want to
lame
step
for long.
on
Ooh.
Anita, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of knew the exit was open.
Yeah, poor old guy.
If your shafts weren't separate, you could put both of them down to begin with. And like Wilson's ECC, the shafts move together. And he says, I can cage him with it.
I guess.
Because they just kind of wiggle and then they finally open them. I think he likes being patted and being made friends with. He's kind of a touchy kind of guy.
He needs a lot of friendly game.
He does. Just every you put a hand on me, he goes.
Mm-hmm.
So funny to watch it because you go, uh-oh, uh-oh, oh. And you
The
watch
other
him.
reason I like my ponies.
Well, she pats him and suddenly he exhales and he goes, oh, maybe I'm going to live through this. He's a good dude who wants to be a friend.
He does.
He really does. You do much better cajoling him than you do punching him.
He's a lot better now than when he came, and that was only, what, a few weeks ago.
I don't understand how the man stays in business, except most people are too ignorant to realize what he's doing.
It's the people that bring their horses to
Yeah.
him. I mean, it's like the politicians, they blame them. It's the people that voted
No,
for
it's
them, you know?
the idiots that voted for him. The only reason Trump isn't dead is because the people that voted for him,
Exactly, and-
the ones that would normally shoot him.
Yeah, really. And my husband, you know, he's a political scientist, right? I said, Matt, is he gonna get in again? He said, yep.
I have two friends I think a lot of. One is a man who owns a company that makes gold-filled wire. And I knew he was a hot shot. He graduated top of his class at Lehigh. This a man that's been very accomplished in life. And I said to him one day, he's obviously got plenty of money, he and his daughter both compete. I said, okay, Jeff, so what do you do with this gold-filled wire? He said, well, my best customer is Tiffany. It gave me a sense of the bracket he's in. And I've thought a huge amount of him for years. He's going to vote for Trump. And I said, what the hell are you thinking? He said, I just think it's kind of a fun experiment. And the other one is a friend of ours who farms 1,500 acres of the state of New Jersey. A hard-working man. He said, I'm just doing it for shits and giggles, so I think change would be
Being able to go in the stall with him.
And then, of course, now he's gotten rewarded because he got $40,000 back this year on his soybean crop. So he thinks the guy's a god. I said, can't you guys see? I love, did you see that paw print that Sally and Paul gave me?
No.
That said,
Oh, yeah,
my
yeah.
dog is smarter than the rest.
Yes.
I told Wilson about that. He
You
said, I want
literally
that.
have to start like from.
Yeah,
And
just-
and you remember Marcy that had the paint?
Yes,
They're farmers and they're
He's
the
very
same way.
big now.
they think it's
They're
fun.
getting money back.
Yeah, exactly. 40, he says 40,000 bucks helps. But somebody else is losing it.
Oh, I know that black kid is
Mm.
always gassy.
Morning, bud. But he actually was relaxing and chewing,
Yeah.
which is very good because he used to be paralyzed with fear.
He seems like he's actually happier when he has the raise.
Yeah, more stuff, more control.
Cause he's like, oh, I can just do this. I'll just
It
do
just,
like
it
that.
takes a long time. You know, he's down to just the twitchiness.
It's mostly just like everyday life stuff, you know?
Yeah.
That,
Do you want a radio?
yeah.
Are you happy just yelling? I think he doesn't like the sound of life. I will, bub.
This is it?
Yes, that's it. Thank you. It does sound a little bit like a freight train coming down the valley.
Yes, I know.
It's an evil sound.
Metal roofs.
Yeah. We had a ferocious
Well,
hailstorm in
I
Florida,
don't really like the sound of
and
the
Ray Fisher's horses were out
wind going 80 miles an hour either, but
because they have very big loafing
run
sheds.
away from it, buddy.
And they went in the loafing sheds, and then they went, oh my God, we can't stay in here, it's got a tin roof. There's a good boy.
Wow.
Good boy. He says, oh, good, here comes Anita, she'll be nice to me.
You having the reins will not do me any good.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
He loves to be patted.
He says, I'm trying.
He really does. He gets soft-eyed, and then he looks a little puzzled, like, why is it being nice to me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, exactly. Like,
I don't
this
think
is
he knows,
different.
I don't think he met much nice.
not from humans.
No. Because as soon as she stops, he's like, hey, lady, you were patting me.
Yeah.
Don't stop. And you know, it's a huge submission when you want people to pat your forehead.
Yeah.
Especially when your forehead is usually up here.
You're right. Well, Anita
He
has,
has to make an effort. to put
Anita's
it
like, my horse doesn't like to be bridled. I don't know why, but he doesn't. And my navigator's very tall, and he walks up and he says, okay, honey, here comes your bridle. Me, he sticks his head straight up and looks at me and goes, no. Paul's so tall that he doesn't even argue. He just puts up with it. Anita's tall enough. She can reach for his face, and he doesn't see her reaching. Because she just
Yeah,
comes
that's why he doesn't like things.
He doesn't want you coming at him,
Oh,
but from her
so,
on, come straight.
You know how the ground is all like heavy like this? So I was walking him, and then I go down in a hole, and then I come up, and he was like,
Like, whoa, where did you come
It
from?
was making me motion sick though, because he was doing the
Do-
same
do-
thing,
do-
going
do-
up and down. We were walking.
But you know, from where Anita's shoulder is, her hand just comes forward to him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that's wonderful. But somebody shorter comes up at him, and they look down at you like this. I can't put a halter on Wilson's horse. You know how big he is.
Yeah.
And he takes that long neck, and he snakes up there, and he goes, you look like a menace to me. Good boy.
You two were awesome. I mean, you're awesome house guest. I
What's
just-
that?
You're an awesome house guest.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but because the
I
kitchen
make
is.
I make my bed and
Did
put
she
the,
leave mints on your pillow?
I make my bed and put my dishes in the washer.
Yeah, she put the dishes in the dishwasher, which is more than I usually do, so, you know,
I even rinse them.
yeah. We didn't get any luggage, so we had to swing by and get long
I'm
pants.
wondering why you were still here.
Get long pants and a winter coat.
She might want
Right.
those.
Yeah, when I saw her, I just went, yeah, the short shorts and a, like a fleecy.
Like she's going to Miami.
This girl came in shorts.
Not.
I always wear
My
more
daughter-
clothes because the
my
airplanes are
daughter-
always
Your
cold.
daughter, yeah.
Morgan flew in for her grandfather's 80th party.
Also, if you wear all your clothes, then you don't have to drag them along with you.
Oh, and I always wear more clothes on the plane because it's always cold.
That's
But
exactly.
it can't have been that warm in Philly.
Yeah.
Was the tea in there for Robin?
Where'd you leave her?
she's in the car.
She'll probably freeze if she gets out.
Yeah, something like that. So anyway, have a wonderful time.
Thank you.
Jenny's
Yeah, it was mine.
something for you. So
Sounds wonderful.
something warm or
I'm,
kidnapping you away.
I'm happy in my blanket and good company, and I got a banana and I got tea and
Oranges and
yeah.
you see, nobody's gonna let you. We all want a happy clinician.
No, they're taking
It's
very good care of
It's in
me.
our best interest to have a
That's
happy
And
right,
this,
we don't like
this
grumpy
thing is fabulous.
clinicians.
It's so heavy.
See, and that's.
There's something.
That was her very best horse. He was a Dutch,
Is
early
that,
Dutch
is that,
warm blood.
is it
In Iowa, Nebraska.
Iowa,
100
Nebraska,
jumper-
okay, what was
100
it?
Jumper Association.
champion?
Yeah. He was
1995.
the
But it's
the
like
regular.
they don't make things anymore.
But yeah, no, I mean, that wool, yeah.
It's felted.
Let alone give them away as presents. You're just getting better and better, aren't you?
He's so good.
Yeah.
Anita's so tall, her hand comes to the right place, and he's in love with her.
Oh,
She's a
great.
kick padding lady.
I need a whip that puts such a long lash though.
Yeah, and he bumps into it. Well, that's the other thing I like about the MCR whips is the lashes have a life of their own. They stay where you put them. They don't go caressing the horse. Well, unfortunately, you live in Iowa. If you don't like the wind, you're living in the wrong neighborhood.
Sure, thank you.
I think they probably doesn't like the wind in this group.
Well, I don't blame him.
I don't know, you know.
I think learning to work in here is a skill set.
Well, I'm not sure if that was just my feet.
And it is sounding a little like a freight train out there.
Yeah. It was so nice.
My phone was showing tornado warnings for Philadelphia last night, which is where that's where Morgan spent the night.
No, I got here on, got to my
She got
house in Iowa.
she got out of Albany and made it as far as Philly.
Can you imagine flying with like 100-mile-an-hour crosswind? That would be terrible.
Well, and from Albany, she's flying a regional jet, like when I came in here in Embraer 175. Not a big old. She probably came from Philly to here in a 737.
She could fly Cape Air.
Yeah. I love Cape Air when the weather's right, but not otherwise. But those little Embraer 175, although the guy that flew from Chicago to here the other day landed that thing like a piece of fluff. It was the nicest landing, and the wind was jumping us up and down. He landed just not a motion. He just plop, it came down. It was amazing. They're little planes,
Drank well, Lex didn't drink that well.
but not quite Cape Air, where they like the one of those. When I went to St. Louis on Cape Air last year, I was leaving Chicago. They got us all loaded, and then a last-minute guy came along. He's pretty good sized, so they got us all out, put us back on the tarmac, shuffled us around like chess players until they had us arranged by apparent weight, and then put us back in the plane in that order. Which I
Like,
thought.
oh, we're still a little left side heavy.
And then they had to repack the luggage.
Can everybody line up from smallest to
And then
biggest,
as
please?
we start to taxi down the runway for takeoff, it's hot. The air conditioning was working. So the pilot and the co-pilot are each holding a window up with one hand. The pilot steering with one hand, holding his big heavy window up with the other one. When it's time to take off, they let go. Both windows clatter shut, and up we go.
Oh my God.
And I know I'm flying. I know I'm flying on a joke. Because Wilson made the reservation. I didn't look at it. And then I looked at it because I always leave in my flight numbers and stuff. I said, I'm flying Cape Air. I said, can't be the same bunch that were on the, remember that old TV show Wings? It is the same bunch.
So
So the little bitty
little-
10-man planes.
Little,
Oh my God, it's all right. We were going from Chicago to St. Louis. And we had to stop in Decatur, Illinois, and refuel because it can't get that far. It was
Very
really an
first
adventure.
time I flew, Robin, it was from Michigan, it was in an ice storm. And the first thing they did was de-ice the wings before we took off, and then we were so late. And then by the time we got to, it was like my graduation present, my parents sent me to Florida because they always went for 6 weeks every winter. And so, they were gonna pick me up at, trying to remember, I don't remember, Fort Myers maybe airport. And, but by the time we got there, we had to take these 2 5-seater planes, and then one person had to stay behind because there wasn't, because
They
we were
couldn't
so
put any
late,
more in it.
we missed the connecting flight, because of all the storms that were going on in the
Oh, that's
world that
crazy.
day. And I'm like, oh my God!
Well, and
just like-
they fly. The Cape Air flies out of our local airport in New Hampshire, in Lebanon, and it's up on a bluff above the river, so you can imagine what the air currents do. So you
Yes.
go out of there on Cape Air, and you have no idea where And I felt one night I was coming back Cape Air into Lebanon, and it was summer, so it was light late. And the captain says, if you look down to the right, you'll see the beautiful Dartmouth College campus. I looked down to the right and saw the farm I used to work on, 50 miles away. We were in Warner, New Hampshire, nowhere near Dartmouth.
Uh-oh.
Nowhere near Hanover. And the pilot didn't even know it.
Oh, my gosh.
I know that place. I used to run it.
It's not very encouraging.
And I'm not anywhere near Hanover, New Hampshire.
Oh,
Because Hanover's, if you're near Hanover, you're 5 minutes from landing. And we were like 50 miles down the road. It makes you feel really good about the pilot.
yeah.
But it is kind of, as one of my friends says, life is only fun. Life is not fun without an element of danger. Sometimes I've had all the fun I can take for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? I'm really pleased with this horse. Ooh, you're a good boy. This horse is going to be fun for you.
Yeah.
The world's an awful big, scary place, but I bet he'll outgrow it.
Yeah, it's already gotten better.
He's a little head fussy today, but I think his back's probably a little tired because we worked him hard yesterday.
Was he good yesterday?
Yeah. We started him on slow trot. He's figured out stretch. And having figured out stretch, he might use it to evade work.
Oh.
And so I thought, well, let's try starting slow trot with him, which he got really well and stopped doing the phony stretch. But I think he's probably a little back tired today. So we'll just keep doing. He can walk around all day. He doesn't have to make progress every day either. He has to make happy, like the tail's a little busy today. Ooh, that is. And he's having to get rid of his worries. And
I've seen sometimes how he gets rid of his
yeah, I'd let him walk. But when
when I was working
yeah, I don't like that very well. But when they get tense, and then they begin to understand it, then they want to get rid of the tension. And so, yeah. But he can only let go on his own, except you turn him and help him. But as they're getting rid of tension, they'll flick their tails because it's rippling through their bodies. And it's really interesting. The Wallers, I don't think you've met the Wallers, but they're my Moneybags friends. They're from home and from down there. And Harvey bought a horse through Coast, Iran. Pretty horse and a lovely mover, but it had some real demons. It didn't do group work, and it's supposed to be in a forehand. And we've spent 2 years working on it, and it's come a long ways. But it was the point where when it wasn't coming a long ways, it was kind of dangerous. So there's a local cowboy. We sent him off to him, and I'm guessing he had to do a couple things a little rough with him, because he had a couple of scratches around his pasterns, like he might have had the running W on him, which is fine, because it teaches him not to do bad things. But then he did a lot of other work with him, and he didn't explain how he does it, but he said the point of that work was to teach, and I don't know how he did it, but to teach the horse to be able to operate his own endorphin pump and make his own endorphin release. And he obviously did it. Yeah, exactly. He obviously did it because we've had the horse in several bad situations, just acclimating to the world, and you can see him go, oh, and all of a sudden,
Okay, fine.
yeah, and all of a sudden you see him go, oh, I'm fine. So apparently somehow, and the guy's, he's known as a good trainer. He's known as he can get a little rough if they need it. And I say, I think he'd had the running W on because he had a bolt in him. But you'd see him escalate to the point where he used to scare us. And then he'd go, I'm all right. So somewhere he had learned to push the endorphin pump, which is fascinating. And Harvey's sudden mechanism they taught him. I'm thinking there's a pressure spot, and the horse is now learning to, because Harvey's a good driver, but he's not a trainer good driver. He's just a good driver of his own nice horses. He shows forehand all over the country, and he belongs to the British Coaching Club and all that crap. But the horse, you can see, take care of his own problem, and it's fascinating to watch. He now has a flat-footed walk. There. You notice the tail didn't go that time when he stretched? The previous times when he stretched, he's been tight and the tail cranked. Now he's all better. I don't say he won't get bad again, but he feels better for the moment. But that's good, because he's learning to process.
Well, he's learning how to deal with tension.
Yeah.
And let it
I
go
would,
rather than-
I would love to know,
And this is actually really good for him. It's like, what he used to do, he like plant his tail and then he'd start bucking.
and it's scary himself when he's bucking. I notice you don't have a kicking strap on him. Yeah, I like kicking straps.
I need you to have Deb order one because, as you might.
Yours won't fit him.
Mine are not long enough.
And you don't want it pulling on him.
No.
You just want it, you just want an accoutrement that
I
travels
don't want
around.
it pressing on his hips at all.
No.
I don't want him-
They ran around on 2 weeks.
Or pulling on the top of his tail.
Yeah. She's a Dutch one.
But I,
That's how you induce bucking.
yeah, that's right. My redhead wears his kicking strap except dressage and cone stakes.
I thought it was down here. She said it'd be.
Yeah, you don't need that either. But Indy wears his all the time, not because he is resisting, but because the thoroughbred quarter occasionally wants a Yahoo.
I would say sometimes, I wouldn't be surprised if TJ wore his for a long time because Laura had a little.
TJ was still wearing his when he started advanced.
Most of the, I kept one on Hank,
Yeah,
most of, even in dressage sometimes because that's, he'd get a little startled sometimes.
that was, it. And,
You know, or he was trying to adjust something and get it, you know, and kick out.
when I was at Lorenzo, at Laurel's, down in Penn, with, right, I was at Laurel's with Indy, and Nifty's horse was green, I think she's going preliminary. And remember Laurel's was that great big highway you went round and round and round with exits off, so I was going around the interstate. And she was coming, she was on the interstate, and I was starting on course, and I was coming from the top of that one big hill. She was halfway down, not going fast enough for my horse, but I wasn't going to pass her because she was about to turn into a hazard. So I made him wait, and I want to tell you how happy I was to have the kicking strap that day, because he went rodeoing down that hill, which he did his first time at Southern Pines too. He went out on section B, and it was rolling downhill, and Wilson and Cheryl Rivers' husband said he kicked him bucked all the way down the hill. So happily he had a kicking strap on, and he just does that.
I think that might be the kind of.
But yeah, this was Indy, but that's just more of a thoroughbred. I think it's the thoroughbred. But you know, about every 5 years he has a kicking spell, so I leave it on him. Now after the day he was kicking it, being stuck behind Nifty, he wanted to kick him cones the next day, but I had his kicking strap on.
I don't know. I mean, I do like.
The horses kick.
Is the right. Some do the same thing with man. Like that, and somebody else will shoot man.
Well, and particularly the marathon carriage.
I did the other person.
Yeah.
Where Sheila, I know she.
Lots of girth was a very good idea, because then if they, yeah,
Right.
but I think the elastic girth cuts down on the bucking and kicking sometimes, because they can expand their bodies.
Before, like when they would, Deb said, you know, at Bill Louie and a couple of shows, they would go and sit up here.
Yeah,
And he would start humping up and then rearing up and throwing himself on the ground.
Yeah, he's
So,
one-
I mean, they were scoping him for ulcers. A 4-year-old shouldn't have ulcers.
no, but they would, if
But
you live
know,
with
where he
Raymond, they might.
came- I mean, I'm
Where
sure
he's
the
been,
Amish.
and they don't get great care of the Amish. They turn him out and don't do anything for him
Yeah.
till they're 2, and then they catch him and break him and send him to the auction. So there's no reason for him to be healthy. But the elastic girth allows him. You know, we wouldn't dream of riding a horse without one. And you know, you have a narrow saddle. I have a new saddle. Did you see my saddle that Jenny gave me for Christmas? It's really wide and yeah, and with a big arc in it. He's so much happier in that thing.
Well, I'm not sure what he was driving in over the summer, because, I mean, it obviously was a harness that did not fit him very well.
But he just, well, I can see through his saddle now. It's a
Well,
nice
I
fit.
have that, I don't think he was using this one. This was, Dad had another pony, named Cooper. This was, it's like a POA Welsh something, and this is his harness.
It's amazing the tugs come down far enough. But you also have the gel pad, which absorbs a lot of bad things. Because without the gel pad,
I think he's a little bit like, well, I don't know why the bridle doesn't fit quite well.
the gel pad, you get rid of the problem where the padding of the saddle eats the side of the spine. I do too.
I know.
Right.
It's like I'm supposed to be doing a half hour with Lex. this
I think
morning.
so. But that's a lovely stretch. It was just a happy stretch.
I would take his
Yeah,
bike
good
off him.
boy.
He's gonna go screaming.
Yeah, I don't want to be out there. I'm glad I put my long johns on.
I know, I went back in the house to put my clothes on. I was like, nope.
I decided this year when I got home I was not wearing a damn turtleneck again, and I haven't done it, but my neck misses it.
Yeah, I put one on today too. I was like, I
Yeah,
looked at my phone, it's like.
I said I just don't want to wear a turtleneck
day.
again. I finally, it takes me a month after I get to Florida to stop wearing it. I'm just such a, well, I'm always out. You know, I start at 8 o'clock standing out at Valor's with the wind howling up the field. And
Yeah, tell my stuff in Florida school, like,
I wonder if they make like back on track, just neck warmers.
they do.
that's why they're the short ones.
I have back on track many things.
I would like a back on track ear warmer for winter.
I have my wrist braces, and my
Because
glove
otherwise-
liners.
Yeah, because
I
it does get cool when
had
it's done
stuff,
down
I don't
there.
know if it's something to do with my eyes or what, but
Nothing
I
else, it's
get,
only
I
like
get
5
headaches
seconds.
really bad.
Probably could, but you don't mind a helmet.
No, helmet's fine.
And I have one of those trauma avoid helmets now, and I thought it was too tight, but it comes with a dial that just loosens the perimeter, and then it fits like a gem, and it's snugger than you're used to, but so I wear it all day and I don't feel it.
Well, I was gonna say, this helmet is actually, you know, it has to be really snug, like, I thought I found mine, but it was just honest.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, it's like, and I put my hair up and puffed it up and everything, and I
And
was like, I don't understand.
You're supposed to be able to do this
And hers is
and not have it move.
well, hers is a large, and I was like, yeah, mine's a. like
Because
extra
I have a
small.
huge head and my trauma avoid's only a medium. But it just, you know, it's nice if it's gonna prevent my brain from rattling when
I
I hit
have to get like an extra small.
it. You got a pinhead.
I have, this is,
Her head doesn't
yeah, I
look
think,
small.
I have a very small head.
I kinda like that pink one, except you look like Leslie Burndle.
I wear a medium helmet.
Leslie Burndle wears a pink
It's
helmet.
actually loose, but I usually have an
Yeah,
air
but
Have
you-
you seen that she,
takes up.
does she always drive that Fjord on the last shank?
Known
I was watching, I was like.
known in
what
the trade as a dead man's hole.
Yeah.
It's like Barb Kirby.
You know, she does it to make it go on the bit, to make it go round. Because fjords are not the easiest things to make go round because they got a Przewalski horse neck. That pony is, she's not the pony she was 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I was wowed by her. Now she's looking tired, but we consider this horse. I think she's 15 or 17. I think she'll get to go to World Championship this year, though. Denise Hinder's gonna run out of time because the pony's gonna get old. I assume they'll send Leslie and Jennifer. I said to Tracy Morgan, you're not doing selection trials this year. She said, do you want to go to Europe with Leslie and Jennifer? I said, no way in hell. And she said, I don't either. Her pony's old too, but she said, I'm a really good team player, but she said, there's no I in that team.
Who is it, Leslie?
Leslie Burndle and Jennifer
Jennifer
Keeler.
Oh, yeah.
Snake ladies. Definite snake women. If you were down and out, they'd run you.
Jennifer Matheson still drive this?
She does, but she does. She competes. She has a pair. Well, what's this now? Taylor Bradish has one of her ponies that she's trying to go to Worlds with, but I think the other two will beat her. she's driving backs, which was part of Jennifer's pair. I don't know what Jennifer's doing besides having a love affair with Larry Poulin.
Well, yeah, but
Mary Pullen?
Yeah,
Oh, am I not?
kind of a long distance deal. 'Cause-
you high-level drivers are all like the
Yeah, we're all-
soap opera.
Just the drama.
well, Jennifer lives in Aiken area, and Larry's either in Florida or New England.
Did find out.
Speaking of drama, whatever happened to Sterling Graber? Is he still
Sterling Graber's engaged again to one of the Kimberleys. Forgotten what her last name is. He's alive and well. He's riding the most recent horse Sarah Schmidt has. That nice chestnut looks like Anglo-Hanoverian. Was one he had started and been riding, and then Sarah got it. I don't know what he's up to. He's often engaged but not married.
He's often engaged.
Was engaged to Wendy forever.
Yeah.
And everybody thought it was so cute that he gave her a new Friedman four-in-hand harness instead of an engagement ring.
Oh, yeah.
And then finally she got sick of that and dumped him.
She dumped him. I thought he dumped her or something.
No, I don't think that's how it actually came down.
The part is cool.
Sterling is, he's his mother. His mother lived in our neighborhood, a fabulous horsewoman, but never had a home to live in or a pot to pee in, or a window to throw it at. She was always at the mercy. She was for years at Radnor Hunt Club and many, many places, but never really had her own gig. And he's like that.
There's some other people like that.
He seriously needs an owner and a sponsor. Like the gray horse he had for so many years belonged to Andy Hewitt, who was John Deere Tractors. Needs support like that. That's a good boy. Hey,
How are you?
good. Yeah, don't we wish?
How are you? Hi, Donna.
My DuPont support is
Good, how
about
are
at the
you?
end of her trail, unfortunately. The walk has picked up energy. He's discovering when you walk more quickly, it wiggles the worries out of you. There goes his tail again. You beat him inadvertently.
I barely even tapped him.
Yeah, but when the end of a whip touches him, it tickles. It's like a big fly.
And he drops it.
Yeah, the flies aren't, yeah, they hit him and he goes pop. Flies aren't out here, but they sure are.
He doesn't just quit. He like jumps.
Yeah, the flies are out down south. The flies are as far north as Southern Pines by now. Actually, they were getting started in Maryland when we came through. Yeah, who's that? Oh, you're fine, buddy.
Yeah.
Good lad.
And it's like, oh, I could get hypnotized.
light.
Yeah.
He kind of drives like Merrick, like, except for he overbends to the right.
Yeah, but it does the bit where the body collapses. It surprised him when he pooped.
Yeah, I know.
He said, who's sneaking up on me dropping poop? Actually, you know, my Opie, my darker, my two puppies, she's like that. Everything's out to get her.
Well, and he's probably not ever gotten slow enough to actually hear it.
I yelled at Indy the other day and she ran out of the barn. I wasn't yelling at her. She thought I
I
said
want to
it.
bring Lex in. It's
You can yell at anybody, and we pay him. I'm sorry, oh,
Yeah, I saw you. Well, at least she's got that much will to behave. That's good.
He's a babe.
yeah, I don't want to overuse it though.
No, I wouldn't.
I don't want to make her immune to the
No. To the reprimand?
yell.
Yeah. I don't think that's possible. The mom yell will always function.
Yeah. Just put it like arrows or,
I'm just thinking if I bring Lex up to do just a short half hour, if I just leave him up here
oh yeah.
for this afternoon.
That's probably good because his brain will get organized.
That's kind of my thought.
We like to mind
They're
boggle them.
both here, but they're separated, and then Sheila's coming to try.
Actually, I think this guy's learning a lot just getting over his worries.
I brought my plants in.
I'm just gonna let him
covered
figure it out.
a couple of things.
Yeah, well, but he's doing it. His ears are busy, and there's a lot more noise and activity here than normal today.
Freeze tonight.
And he's all the light is very different because it's dark outside and bright in here. And then I saw him notice his shadow coming down the wall, coming to get him. Paul's horse was so good about all that yesterday. I think maybe he's grown up at 13.
No bueno.
Yep. The thing he used to hate was the sun coming through the crack in the door, making a line.
If we had a play day and just let him see.
Yeah. Well, they did so much patching of the forest roads this winter, and they were patched with a lighter or darker material, and he'd go along and go, ooh. Then he'd say, you're right, ooh.
I think that's just always gonna be a thing from Eric. The way he sees like things.
He's an Arab.
I remember once when he was young, yeah, he spooked at some grass.
He's an Arab. Indy's like that. The ground changes color. He's like, oh, mama, no can do. I keep telling him there's no Arab in there. It's 3/4 Morgan, 1/4 Thurber. There's no Arab. Oh, yeah. And Morgan can spook occasionally. Yeah. He's like, oh, here it comes, here it comes. I'll never forget Hank the day he saw the big snake. I was trotting down the road in the woods. Well, I was trotting down Hospital Road, main road in the woods. And he kind of stuck his neck back and he way overbent to the right, and he's
He's got his eyeball
got his
pointed down.
eyeball on the rattle on this giant rattlesnake,
Oh, my
and he's going, hey boss, you want to look at this for me, please? And I'm like, oh wow, that's pretty fancy, Hank. And it was about 6 feet long, and it was out straight because it was cold, but its head was up, flicking its tongue at us. We got to that, he legged it across the road and stopped and said, now boss, you really got to deal with this.
Oh, my God.
He wasn't going to hurt anybody because he was too cold. So we actually stayed and watched him for a while because he was just beautiful. He was probably 6 inches around,
Oh, no, thank
and
you.
it had a huge stack of rattles. The bigger the rattles, the older he is, so he's obviously a very old snake.
So you and I heard that water snakes, they can't fight like when they're in the water and still drown.
The moccasin, yeah, they get you on the bank. But
But what about like those brown snakes?
the brown snakes,
That's
the brown,
on the top of the water.
the brown water snake, the brown water snake isn't going to hurt you anyway. It's only the water moccasins that'll hurt you. But the water moccasin is so venomous that Dr. Ann said,
Except for when it stings and I cry and I
Yeah.
drown.
And you drown, yeah.
the Dr. Ann says, if a water moccasin bites your horse, you won't need her because you won't get back in for her to come. You will die on the spot,
Oh, my God.
which is why I really don't like them.
Air, not water.
Well, and they're also sticky because they chase you.
Oh, my gosh.
I've seen water
The
moccasin.
ones that they go up in trees
Yes,
on the bank.
yes, because one time we were canoeing in the Okefenokee and they were hanging down out of the trees while we were eating.
Oh.
But the one came into barn 8. I was in barn 8 with Dr. Ann and working on a horse acupuncture in the end of the, and I went down to the front part of the barn because it was pouring. I see this thing coming zipping up out of the puddle, and he obviously knows this barn because he was headed for the tack room. I'm sure he used to go in there, the feed room, and eat mice. Well, he came buzzing in, the door was shut, and he bopped his face. And then he was mad. And he came up the floor at us with his mouth wide open, showing the cotton lining, right at us.
Oh, my God.
Happily, people whose horse we were doing had a snake stick. Because I told them we had snakes, and they have snakes in New Jersey, so. And he grabbed it with a snake stick, got the back third of it. It's thrashing around trying to bite him, but he could keep it. Yes, this is Frank. And so we got, he says, well, he says in, this isn't Frank Kosa, this is Frank Klostek. But he says in their home in New Jersey, they have 15-foot black racers. They won't hurt you. So anyway, he's got the damn snake, and we got him a trash can, put it in the trash can, and then the lid wouldn't snap right. So he took it outside. So he's standing out there in the pouring rain, holding the lid on this damn snake. And we called Mr. Tommy. He said, I sympathize with your situation, but I'm an hour away. So call the owner. So we called him. He said, I'll be right there, don't move a thing. So Frank's standing out in the rain, holding the lid on this nasty snake who's thrashing around there. And his wife says, what are you doing, honey? He says, I'm making memories. And then after a while he says, what part about I'll be right there am I not understanding? And finally Alan showed up 20 minutes later and said, couldn't find my ammo.
Oh, my goodness.
So we took the trash can out in the field and knocked the lid off it. And the bugger got a little bit tangled up in the liner getting out. Then he was mad, so he turned and he came at us instead of running away to the woods. So Alan shot off one side of his head, and he kept coming with the other side of his head, his mouth still open.
Oh, good.
He was still going to get us, so then he shot off the other side of his head, and that was the end of him. He was a mad, nasty bugger.
Adventures in Florida.
Yeah, they are angry. And Wilson ran into one a couple years ago, right on the edge of a puddle. About the last day we were there, and he was really aggressive and nasty. He shot past him, and then he found out why he was aggressive and nasty, because there was a big forest otter at the end of the pond, and the otters eat water moccasins.
Oh.
That's got to be a nasty otter.
Yeah.
I think we only saw one snake all winter this year. That was Candy Smith that saw it.
Look at that.
This is quite nice.
Yes.
Good boy.
Okay, I'm happy now.
Between his knees. Ooh, I don't either. That's it. So support with one rein and a little bump with the other. Good boy. And he doesn't need to be any quicker. Careful. Yeah, well, he doesn't need to get any closer, no. That's better. He has a nice, easy stride, and he has a not so easy stride. If he's yeah, if he's as bad as you say, I'd be inclined to drive him with a vest on. Like Nancy Dimmitt never goes out without her vest.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be able to put it, I don't think
Over all those clothes?
I have like 4 shirts on.
She has a winter vest and a summer
I
vest.
guess I could wear masks.
Yeah, she has a winter vest and a summer vest. Her horse, we were going up behind her house one day, and up the same road she always goes up at home. The same 2 deer that always come across, and it scared the horse, and she spun, and she was riding in a country road, 2-wheel, and it shot her off the seat and backwards into a tree,
Oh, man.
and knocked the wind out. They said she should have died. It should have stopped her heart, but it didn't. So she's been very good about wearing her vest ever since. Mary's pretty reliable now. But good one. Yeah, left isn't his thing, is it? No. Well, if you've got tension, not everything works, but it's not something you fight about. You just niggle around with it. Because the righty's very happy. You noticed? Welcome to my world. Just work your left elbow and ease your right rein a little more. There. He needed more space in the right rein. And he'd gotten himself with his jaw flexed right. And then ooh, you're all right, buddy. He couldn't figure out what to do about it. Ooh, keep the speed. There.
Yeah, he goes to the.
Yeah.
I grabbed the right rein because he goes tumbling.
Yeah. But you got to grab it, get an answer, and soften. Because what he's doing is he's flexing his jaw kind of nicely, and he's got a fat cheek, or a fat. No, it's the pouch with saliva in it, and it's fat. And when he gets stuck against it, he's like, well, I can't go any faster over there. So you got to fix the tumble, and then allow, and fix the tumble and allow. There we go. Good boy. If you did that to begin with, you wouldn't have that problem. You say, well, I didn't know that. So be aware, yeah. You can fix with the right rein, fix and soften, fix and soften, fix and soften. Because he got the idea you were blocking. You weren't. But he got the idea you were. Yeah.
My horse is falling left, so I'll just hold him up.
Well, yeah, if you hold him up with the right rein, he counter bends and falls worse. But you can tweak. Ooh, you're all right, honey. That's a good boy. And he's had enough nervousness today. He might have a couple tight spots. Listen to that wind.
What
I'm gonna
kind
get
of
us.
pit does he have?
I didn't know they rerouted a freight train around here.
Right.
That's a good boy.
Hopefully it's not a tornado. What's his
That
bit,
was a
Robin?
Nice change.
Hey, Robin, Renita's asking what bid he has.
What?
What is his
What
bit?
bit?
It's
she
a
wants to know.
Liverpool. I don't know which mouth has he got? The Arch 40. It's Arch 45. It's a Bowman Arch 45, which is up and forward, 45 degrees up, 45 degrees forward. So it does kind of this way. It gives a lot of tongue space, and it's quite mobile, so that, if everybody softens, it releases really well. That was good, huh? And you kind of got him way over to the right, and then you could, careful, love, then you could let him go. Good job. He's not really whining a lot. Just
I think he doesn't, the wind is whistling through that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he got himself worried, he got tight, and he's trying to wiggle his neck free. And you just have to play with that right rein, because he flexes easily to the right, and then he gets stuck.
He's like the opposite of Merrick.
Yes, he is the opposite of Merrick.
Merrick is.
And Merrick also knows how to unstick it when you allow it. Yeah, now he does. This one doesn't know that. So he has to learn, don't get stuck and the lady will let you go.
Probably also. It would hurt him to.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
I've been working him on the ground mostly.
Because these horse size, I think it's horse size. The horse size ones tend to be 200 kilo, which is 440 pounds. Now minimum for a single horse is 150 kilo, which is 325, 332. Like my Dartmoor has a 25-pound weight plate in it right up to make it bottom heavy, and so it makes 332. But that's what the littlest he'd have to carry is 332. And that ECC of ours that Wilson uses was originally Knox's and TJ's. And when I switched to the Dartmoor and was 100 pounds lighter, I had a new TJ. Ah, good boy. That was good, because you drove him way out there, and then letting go to the left was a good idea for him.
What's the weight on this one?
This one's probably 440. Unless it's, I don't, that's a lot of weight. I don't think it's Cobb size. Cobb might be a little smaller, but
I think that all they do is smaller than you.
I think so. It's a very athletic carriage. It rolls easily, it turns easily, but for him, where he goes round and uses his neck and his hind legs so well, it's really a lot of pressure on the top of his butt and his thighs and gaskins. And he's come up with the right idea, which is to stretch into it. But it's his third day working. He's only been home a month maybe, 2 weeks?
Yeah, well, he's been working, but mostly on the ground.
Yeah, but he hasn't been pulling this. But he's not being nasty about it.
No, he's just,
He's whining.
yeah, but you know, he's Falcon.
Well, and he's a kid, and his bones are green. He's had to learn a completely different way of going, because he's not being tortured.
Exactly.
I don't know how you get along with so few clothes. Yesterday, I said to your daughter, "You gotta be freezing." She says, "I'm fine." She had on shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
I had on everything. She had a little
I was like that too
open
as a kid.
sweatshirt.
I didn't
And me,
have-
I'm out here in
now
my
I'm
long
like-
johns and long socks.
I do have long johns on
Yeah.
and cool socks, so.
I see no point being uncomfortable anymore than I have to be.
Right.
I just look like I don't have a lot of clothes on because I have many layers. And
Layers
I
are
couldn't
good.
find my coat.
Oh, and I have two fleece layers. 'Cause
I lost my coat.
I got a big
so-
thick Columbia fleece in my jacket's fleece line, so that gives you areas of warmth, because too many layers of cotton don't do you much good. Yeah, something that's got air spaces. Warm air spaces.
Silk just makes you sweat.
Yeah, silk is okay though, because it transfers the sweat away.
I don't know, it doesn't breathe very well.
I have, my long johns I own today are very heavy silk, they're pretty nice. But I like
Well, I guess
I like
if
polar
you're-
fleece long.
but
I like my back on
If
track
you're
long
not really
johns.
doing any, I mean,
I'm not
that
doing
you're not
anything.
doing anything.
Yeah, I am. I'm
but
sitting here
if
running
you're not
around.
walking around and stuff, as soon as you start
When
walking
you
around,
sweat,
then you sweat.
then it makes you
And
sweat.
then when you stop, you're really cold.
I looked at my back on track long johns and I said, "Oh, it can't get that bad." But they're really warm and nice.
You have mine, don't you?
I don't. I haven't just heavy
Oh,
silk on.
I have mine on.
I didn't bring my back on track ones. I said, "Oh, it can't be that bad."
Yeah, you were a good boy.
I try not to have to wear winter clothes all the time when I get home.
I use them for my knees, you know,
Yeah,
for arthritis.
they help a lot.
I think.
You're a good boy. Very good boy.
Nice.
It's wonderful that he just could go ahead and work in a bad situation.
Yeah, and he wasn't, I mean,
I mean, a lot of people would have put him up today
yeah.
and said, "I'm going to do this," but you know, life sucks. You go out playing it. Good boy. You can tell he's
Basically just do whatever you can handle.
well, he's receiving from
Oh,
out of.
oh, oh.
You can't go to the barn for help.
Here's a little tiptoes.
Is that the white pony?
Yeah.
The little white tornado? You all right? Is he afraid of it?
I don't know if you've ever seen it.
He lives next to Prince though.
I'm not sure.
And
Like,
besides-
unhook him before I find out.
Yeah, besides, it's not only the little white tornado, it's dressed in a lot of clothes.
He doesn't look too afraid of it. I think he just wants.
No, he just gave it,
Which that was actually good, because look, he just turned and looked at it rather than.
he stretches.
Jumping in
Well, I'm
the
sure
air.
he's trying to figure out what in God's name it is. It's a
Poor
horse.
thing.
But before his response when something would make him nervous.
Depart.
He would, good book.
Yeah. No, he really wants to find, he says, "Damn, it looks like a horse."
He is doing really well for him.
Looks like a horse.
Smells
Smells like a horse.
It is a
Sounds
horse.
like a horse. I don't
It's a
understand.
little bitty horse.